My name is David Suchoff. I am a faculty member in the Department of Crop and Soil Sciences and the Alternative Crops Extension Specialist. My program does applied field research in new and emerging crops that fit in rotation with other crops like sweet potatoes. Our program has been working with sesame now for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm standing in front of one of our plots of research sesame. And we're really excited about what we see with this crop in terms of how it fits within the rotations here in eastern North Carolina. A little bit of history. We've been working with this crop now for, as I said, 4 or 5 years. When we first started, we started off with small plot research, and farmers heard about the crop, and we've seen acreage expand now to about 3,000 to 5,000 contracted acres of sesame across North Carolina. So just to go over some of the basics of this crop, it is an oilseed, it's a warm season crop, and it's an annual. So we're going to treat this just like we treat our corn and our soybeans. It's planted with a planter that we would use for our beans or our corn, and then we're harvesting it with a combine. So we don't need any new specialized equipment to grow or harvest this crop, which we really like to see with any type of new and emerging crop. It is a very, very drought-tolerant crop. In fact, it's one of the most drought-tolerant oilseeds out there. So when we see our corn dying, when we see our other crops flagging, this crop is blooming and producing and does very well. In fact, the majority of our nation's sesame is being produced out west in Texas and Oklahoma. And as you can imagine, it's a very dry environment. So we don't tend to see issues with drought here in North Carolina. However, what we can see is that when we get a lot of excess rain or standing water, the crop goes down very quickly. So we want to make sure that if we're growing this crop, we're putting it in fields that don't have a lot of standing water or can have standing water in the event of heavy rains. Now, one of the aspects that we're really excited about with sesame, and one of the reasons that we're here talking today, is that it is resistant to root knot nematodes. We started off doing greenhouse trials with Dr. Adrian Gorney to look at the resistance of a number of sesame varieties to 4 different root knot nematode species, including the guava root knot nematode. And in those trials, we showed that it is in fact not susceptible to any of those root knot nematodes. And so fast forward to 2023, we start seeing growers putting this crop out in their fields, and we worked with a number of growers who had root knot nematodes in their fields, and we asked them if they'd be willing to plant this crop there, and they did. Not only did they get a really great yield of sesame out of those fields, but we saw, when we looked at nematode numbers, that there was a drop from anywhere from about 80 to 97% in the number of nematodes in those fields. So we're really excited about the potential of this crop as it fits within the rotation. We are going to continue doing research, both small plot and on farm, to get a better idea of really how to maximize production, but also to understand what the impacts of growing sesame are when we look at crop rotations. What does it mean for, say, a sweet potato crop that's planted after sesame if we're in a field with nematodes? Can we help to control some of those nematodes just by simply putting this crop in the field? So there's a lot of work that's left to be done with this crop, but it's certainly one that we're really excited about, and we are similarly excited to see it start to expand across the state.